A high-profile executive has quit MoviePass and sent a scathing letter to the company about a very toxic work culture. Hey everyone, this is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net and shareholder in Helios and Matheson. And before we get started in the story, I want to talk about, the channel for just a moment, because I haven't gotten around to my state of the channel, the updates, but I just want to give you a heads up right now. We are going to be trying a new schedule for the channel, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I am planning to have videos. Wednesday's video is almost certainly not going to be MoviePass related unless they do something else. So I'm going to try to keep a consistent schedule. I know you guys like the videos. I want to start, updating this channel more often. Now, I do have a wedding to plan for, so maybe that'll change. If it changes, we'll probably drop to Tuesday and Thursday, but we'll have to see. Anyway, on to today's story, and that is that a high-profile MoviePass executive quit the company and sent a scathing 704-word email to people, basically deriding management for fostering a toxic work environment for all involved. And as you probably figured, it has a lot to do with our buddy Bob Ellis. I hope I'm remembering that name correctly. So according to Business Insider, and as you can see, the stock, it's 2 cents. Not going to get rich investing in this company. On Wednesday, as MoviePass staff members settled in to begin work in the new year, they received an announcement in their inboxes from one of the startup's product managers, Eric Jung. I think it's Jung, or maybe it's Jeng. Sorry if I mispronounced that. In an all-staff email, Jeng resigned from the company after working there for 1 year. In the 704-word letter obtained by Business Insider from several sources, Jang set out his reasons for leaving, the biggest of which was that he could no longer, in good conscience, work for people who foster such a perilous work environment for their employees. So keep in mind, he is not saying anything about the business model. He is not saying anything about the product itself. He is not even talking about the board. He is talking about the work environment, although it should be noted the board certainly contributes to a toxic work environment. Jang said that he was, quote, disappointed in the company's response to employee allegations of inappropriate behavior, and that MoviePass leadership chose their own personal friendships over the reputation of the company and the safety of MoviePass employees who have been working so hard to improve the position of our company every single day. And of course, as we talked about in the last video when we talked about Mr. Bob Ellis is a personal friend of Ted Farnsworth. I have spoken very critically about Ted Farnsworth before, Ted Fartsworth, and this, of course, reinforces why. You have a company that is attempting to fix things, and yet he is keeping around a board member that is creating a very, very uncomfortable environment. And now that board member or that person, I don't even know if he is a board member, maybe he's just a consultant, but his presence is causing a lot of problems, and Fartsworth would rather protect that friend than do what's right for the company. Unbelievable. Though it's unclear what allegations Jang was referring to or whom they were against, 8 current and former employees previously told Business Insider that a MoviePass marketing consultant, Bob Ellis, had a reputation among some in the company for inappropriate behavior towards female employees. 4 current and former MoviePass employees told Business Insider they believed Jang was referring to Ellis. I believe he was referring to Ellis, especially since Ellis is the only person we've talked about other than Mitch Lowe and Ted Fartsworth. And Lowe and Fartsworth are not, mere board members or consultants. They are CEO of each company. Business Insider reported in December that 4 formal complaints had been filed with Human Resources about Ellis' behavior towards women at the company since he started working for MoviePass in April. A June announcement at an all-hands meeting by MoviePass CEO Mitch Lowe was widely interpreted by staff to mean Ellis was gone, according to 5 sources who were on the call, but he'd kept popping up at business events. Ellis is good friends with Ted Farnsworth, the CEO of MoviePass parent company Helios and Matheson Analytics, according to 3 sources. And yeah, as long as that friendship remains, he will be protected. And there's Mr. Ellis himself. Jang wrote in his resignation letter that he applauded those who stood up for what was right, citing the threat of resignation from certain leaders from MoviePass and many formal complaints. So we might actually find more people leaving MoviePass as the situation gets out of control. Business Insider reported in December that 3 executives threatened to quit in June if nothing was done about Ellis. Quote, "It takes courage to stand up and act for what is right." Business Insider attempted to contact Ellis by email, phone, and text to comment for the story, but he did not but they did not get a response. MoviePass declined to comment on the story because, of course, they did. And if they come out announcing anything, they should probably get ready to fire this guy, like officially sever ties with him and do it in a very, very public way, because this is not something they want on their record. Ellis was in executive functions as recently as December when executives from MoviePass and Ellis and HR appeared together on a yacht in Miami. And this is the other part that was interesting. Khalid Etam, a MoviePass executive vice president, said in an all-hands meeting days after the outing that despite how it looked, business took place on the boat. Jang said in his letter that the social media post showing the yacht outing was not only completely thoughtless, but also incredibly tone-deaf. Jane continued, "Our employees are working late hours, sometimes until 1 a.m. and on holidays to build, develop, and release new MoviePass features and products while fearful of the financial future and stability of the company. It sends an incredibly selfish message to MoviePass employees that members of management are living lavishly and seemingly carefree with no concern for the company or its employees." And yeah, by the way, that kind of reminds me of another situation that happened several years ago. You may remember the stock market crashes, and I don't know if it was Enron or some of these other companies, but they went to Congress and they were asking for huge amounts of money to bail them out of a bad financial situation. And how did they get there? Well, they flew their private jets. And the congressmen were like, and women were like, yeah, no. If you've got money for private jets, you've got money to bail yourself out. In fact, I remember another situation, like it wasn't quite as severe, but in the Waking Sleeping Beauty documentary, the Disney animators were flown in on had these executives flew in on private jets just to tell them that they were not spent another dime on, I think, The Little Mermaid it was. Not one single more dime, and then they took their private jets and they flew back away, and I think it was Mark Henn, the animator, he was like, oh no, it was Don Hahn. He said, "It was a very Hollywood moment." And this is probably one of those Hollywood moments. You have a company that is struggling financially. They're trying to fix the product. They're trying to get in better self-esteem. Their employees are overworked. They're not paid much. And they see the executives on a yacht. A yacht. And heck, the shareholders, we see these same pictures and totally tone deaf. So, in fact, by the way, there's the yacht. And by the way, there's Bob Ellis. See that little arrow? That's where Bob Ellis is. Yay, Bob Ellis. So, yeah. Whatever. Jane also employed MoviePass to get a, quote, functional and qualified HR department. In November, the two-person human resources team was fired, leaving the duties to Jake Peterson, a senior vice president of the company. Quote, "When leadership decided to fire our only qualified HR employees, they sent a very clear message that they care very little about employee safety and security. There currently is no effective outlet for employees to discuss issues about their comfort and safety in the workplace, and they should not have to have that fear." Yes, you always need an HR department. Every company should have an HR department. Why MoviePass does not think this is the case, I do not know. Jane closed his letter by saying that team morale at MoviePass worsens and worsens with no end in sight. And by the way, as a fan of MoviePass who has to make videos like this, who doesn't want to make videos like this, yes, the feeling is mutual. Every time I make a video, it bothers me because it's like, I want this company to survive, and yet every time I make a video, it flies in the face that it actually will get better. It doesn't appear like it will. Quote, "It is clear to me that our work environment has become simply too dangerous and toxic, and that we as employees cannot depend on Ted, Mitch, and Khalid," he wrote. "The unrest comes as Helios and Matheson faces the possibility of being delisted from NASDAQ, as its stock has not traded above $1 since July. In late December, according to a document filed by Helios and Matheson with Securities and Exchange Commission, the NASDAQ warned the company would move to delist." Yeah, okay, yeah, so that's the typical stuff. So, yeah, let's just look at this picture again. Let's look. There's Bob Ellis. They're on a yacht. Does that look like a business meeting? That looks like the most carefree business meeting in the world. That looks like the kind of business meeting you have if you release the Avengers to $2 billion, not a company who shed 1 million subscribers and dropped like 200 places on the top 100 apps in the iPhone App Store. In my opinion, this Bob Ellis guy's got to go. I mean, would that fix all the company's problems overnight? No, not even close. But you know what? I've always told people this. When you make mistakes, if you hold on to the mistake, then that will always reflect poorly on the future. Bob Ellis is not a man to be trusted. I don't even know what he does, although, again, we don't know. Maybe Bob Ellis is the one who helped get Bruce Willis to negotiate a 3-picture deal with him. A 3-picture deal with Bruce Willis is not anything to sneeze at. It does raise your credibility quite a bit, and MoviePass is trying to find other services to which to make money from so that their brand is more popular rather than just a subscription card. In fact, I think the subscription service might even be a relatively small part of the company in the future, and maybe we'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, bottom line, this Bob Ellis has got to go. They've got to hire a proper HR department. They need to fix the product, and they need to start working towards a bright future. They need to stop doing stuff like this, or else they are just not going to make it. Although some argue they're not going to make it anyway, so who cares? Either way, I'd love to know what you guys think. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly, and you get access to my exclusive blog only for patrons. And as always, blame responsibly. Have a good one.